Hey everyone, this is Justin with Living to Camp, and we're about to go down this trail through the desert. It's called the Old Spanish Trail, and we're going to camp out here. So let's get going. We got going down the trail, and there was like a gravel pit or whatever that had fenced off the trail. So we're trying to find another way around so we can get on the trail. And it doesn't look like there's anything after that, so we're just gonna see if we can find our way back to the Old Spanish Trail and keep going on this journey. All right, so we found a power line road here that we think will get us over there. Let's check it out. So we'll just take this north and hopefully reconnect with the Old Spanish Trail. They didn't have, gravel pits and industry blocking the trail back in the day. So there is the turnoff of the Old Spanish Trail. This power line road took us right to it. Now, one thing I will say, we know this power line road is well maintained because it has to be. But the Old Spanish Trail here, with it being blocked out behind us from the highway, who knows how many people even go on it anymore. And there's really large washes that are in these basins. I'm a little worried about it because there could be really steep downhill parts and uphill parts, and those could easily have been washed out. They could be like a drop off. So we're just gonna take it slow, see how it goes. Either way, we're gonna camp, and if we run into trouble, we'll just turn around and go back the other way. But anyway, I'm here this time with my brother Trent, keeping me company.
Hello, everyone.
So that's good news, and we're gonna get out here, find a place to camp, and make some food. Yeah, right here is a little bit of a rough spot. Not too bad though. Coming down into this wash. Yeah, those look like dust devils off in the distance. I don't know if the camera can see them, but there's like 3 of them out there. Some Joshua trees out here. Creosote. There'll be some dark skies tonight. Quiet. Just the sound of crickets. Might hear some coyotes. See some kit fox maybe. See, there's a pretty decent sized wash. It looks like it's just flat out there, but then there's these washes where you could duck down and hide into very easily. And those do fill up with water when there's a lot of rain. And this is where it'll get a little more dicey. There it is. You can see it there. That's what a dirt devil, or is it a dust devil, or yeah, dust devil?
Dust devil.
That's what that looks like. And that hillside over there that we're looking at is actually in California. It's on the California side of the border. We're right on the border here. All right, we've chosen to park in this spot right here and camp for the night. And the reason is, it's kind of a crossroad here. But let me show you what we came upon. This is a marker. And it's got a little arrow. It says Old Spanish Trail, 1829 to 1851. And there's a number 27 on it. So I'd like to find out when that was put there, but that's pretty cool. Here it is. Here's looking west. And there's looking to the east towards Las Vegas. And we're actually on a part of the trail that is between what's called Mountain Spring, which is up in those mountains over there, where they would have refilled for water. Obviously, that's the most important commodity out here. And in that direction is Stump Spring, and then after that is Tacoma Springs. Stump Spring, in those days, was a surface water area. We're going to drive through it on the way out tomorrow and see if there's any water, but usually it is not surface water because of intense agriculture in this valley here. But they would have been able to get water from there and probably stay overnight. So we're in between the two, which is probably not how they would have done it, but that's okay. Cheers, everyone. Oh man. And this is actually vanilla. So it's like a vanilla Pepsi kind of stout style. All right. So we're just sitting here with the Suburban giving us some shade. It's not really hot, but it's nice to be out of the sunlight.
I got the Bud Light Chilata made with Clamato. It's a premium light lager with natural flavors and vegetable juice for color.
It's like lime and Clamato, huh?
Yes, because I like to have a little bit of vegetable juice. Keeps you healthy.
Your vitamins. If you watched last week's video, I was camping in a cave, and that is actually right over there, and I'll turn the camera around and give you a shot so you can see. See if I can, I don't know if my finger will show up in here or not, but the cave that I stayed in was about right there. And I was overlooking this valley from that cave, and I talked about the Spanish trail, the old Spanish trail as well. So we're all connected here. So if you haven't seen that video, we'll put a little link right here so you can watch it too.
It's definitely really far from here, but we can see it because it's so clear and it's just flat all the way up until that mountain.
All right, the steaks are looking pretty good, and the broccoli's looking pretty tasty. I think it's time to plate it up. All right, so I have a steak that's been seasoned with some herbs, spices. It's very good. Cooked it on cast iron. Brother's putting up his tent. I'm sleeping in the car. Bon appetit. Makes me wonder what the people on the old Spanish trail would have been eating. Beef jerky. Yeah, they probably had to bring dry goods. Rice, beans. Cooking in a pot over a fire. It's hard to beat that. Yeah, it's gone completely still. The wind's died down. Can't hear any cars in the distance, no airplanes. It's just completely silent out here. Still and silent, except for me. I just got a cool shot with the Milky Way here, with the Suburban in the foreground, which is pretty cool. There's the Suburban right there in front of us. All right, y'all, we're getting ready to hit the hay here in the Suburban, which is a nice, comfortable sleep for tonight for sure. And then we're gonna head off in the morning. Morning, y'all. Well, we made it through the night. Comfortable. I'd say the Old Spanish Trail is a good place to sleep. It's quiet. No disturbances. It's beautiful, so all right, now we're gonna get the I think we're just going to have a breakfast bar and an energy drink and get this show on the road. Actually, one of perhaps the tragedies of this area right now, as I can see in the distance, let's see if I can get some footage of it for you. There is an enormous solar facility going in over here, and not too far from here, just on the other side of this road that we're going to be coming out on, there's 30,000 acres of this land right here that will be converted into solar projects. And I've actually worked on a series of films called Desert Apocalypse about that on a different channel. I'll put a link below. So for now, we're just enjoying this trail and this wild space. But who knows how long it'll be here with the way all of this need for energy is going. Only so much you can do about it, though. In the meantime, what do we got here? Strawberry flavored Nutri-Grain bar to get us going. And we'll head down the road here pretty soon. Thought I'd give you a little tour of the land out here a little bit. This is a creosote plant, which is used as medicine by indigenous people, and actually certainly still is today by people who know how to use it. It's really good for pains on the body. Of course, this is the Mojave yucca, which can live several hundred years old, and this is a food source for indigenous people. They would roast the hearts, and kind of like an artichoke, the hearts have meat on them, and you kind of scrape them off and then spit out the fibrous parts. And this floor here is very important to the desert. It is networks of biotic bacterial soil that has developed over 100,000 years. It's actually a carbon sink. And so the Mojave Desert, the Great Basin, is a large carbon sink. because of these soil floors in the desert. And that's what supports all this life here. And out here you have, there's kit fox and coyote. I think we heard some last night. There's burrowing owls, desert tortoise, which are endangered. There's bighorn sheep that come through between the mountain ranges there and then that direction. They go to new mountain ranges, find new mates, things like that. And then you have badgers and Gila monsters and of course all kinds of reptiles, snakes and lizards, different kinds of birds. So it's a biological hotspot. This is an American ephedra, also known as Mormon tea or Indian tea. And basically it's a stimulant if you make it into a tea. This one's a little yellow, but a lot of times they're very green. You kind of have like a reed-like structure. On the road again. What's up, Trent?
What's up?
So we were just talking about, we're going, down into these washes and up and then down. This desert floor it's like an accordion because, the water comes down out of these mountains and it's got to go somewhere. So it just creates these washes to the desert. So we're just going up and down like an accordion. And we were talking about the importance of water out here in the desert. There's finite amounts of water on the planet, period. And especially here, there's no more rare resource than water. We happen to have the Lake Mead Reservoir, but that's drying out. And there's an old saying out here in the West, and that is, whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting over.
Water rights.
And you see the signs of water out here, you just don't see the water itself. But that is what made this trail here. Oh, look at that big lizard. Chuckwalla. That's why this trail is here. It's literally because of water. Mountain Springs behind us. And right up ahead where we're going now is Stump Spring, which is a source of water for the indigenous people that use this trail for thousands of years, and then for Spanish traders. So we continue on. through that wash there, and I think this is the first of maybe we'll see for Stump Springs. But it's getting pretty hard, so we're gonna try to get out of here. And we come to the end of the trail, the old Spanish trail. Final marker. Yeah, we made it to the end of the trail. You know, this vehicle that we're in is pretty long, and I'll tell you what, I was pretty nervous at the very end here, going through those washes, especially the one of the last ones we went through had a steep bank going down, and there was still water and mud in the middle of it, and it kind of had built a trench, and then we had to go back up a pretty steep incline that had mud on it, and we made it through. But as you can see, there was probably a little bit of damage, and you can see here where we nosedived into the bank on the way up that wash. Bent the license plate in, put a dent in it. So there you have it. Well, thanks for watching. We had a good time. It was a little bit scary at the end. We had a great camp out. The old Spanish Trail is definitely something you want to check the trail conditions on, especially after monsoon season. That's probably what made it worse. But it's good to have, probably a more appropriate vehicle. I thought it was going to be just, across the desert, but that just goes to show that these desert roads they're not just flat. They go up and down, especially when you get into these areas like this. Another note is that these areas in here have they've found mammoth fossils from prehistoric times, when this was a much wetter area. So these areas where there's all these washes, similar to the Tule Springs National Monument in Las Vegas. So pretty cool. Again, thanks for watching Living to Camp, and we hope that if you like this, you want to see more camping trips out here in the desert or elsewhere, that you'll subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you again next time. We're gonna be I got a bunch of stuff planned for the future. Every Thursday we have a new trip coming up. Last week I camped in a cave, so check out that video. Not too far from here. In fact, you could see this valley from there. And I have plans in the future to go camping on some sand dunes, to go camping in a volcano, and a bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.